G'day everybody, how are you going today? It is so good to see you, and again we are talking about the Nikon flagship camera, which it is rumoured on Nikon Rumours. Thank you so much, Nikon Rumours. It is rumoured on Nikon Rumours to be the Z9, and we may well have an announcement later today, US time, or tomorrow. And here is a pre-visualization of what the Z9 could be like. Obviously, this is somebody's best guesstimate. This is not actually the camera. So not only is there a rumor that we will have a development announcement, a formal development announcement of this camera. In the rumor it states there won't be any specifications, just the fact that it's coming. Who knows? It's a rumor. So let me start all of this by saying, I am not saying this. What I am reporting to you is a rumor, and who knows what will happen. None of this may happen, but Nikon Rumours' track record is pretty strong, so I'm bringing that information to you, plus a few of my own thoughts. Let me have a drink. This stuff is serious. I think it's time for some tea. Let's jump into the rumoured specifications. Now, I think the thing that most people are most interested in is, what is the megapixels? Is it going to be a 45? Is it going to be a 50? Or is it going to be a 60 megapixel camera? There is conjecture that we already have a 45 megapixel camera in the Z7s, the D850. So this camera needs to be more than that. Obviously the competition in the R5 and the A1 sit between 45 and 50 megapixels. If the stacked CMOS sensor newly developed, which I might say the rumors are stating that it will be an improvement over the A1, it could either be a variant of the A1 where Nikon are making their own tweaks, or it could be Nikon's own sensor that somebody else is fabricating for them. We don't know this, but either way, the rumor is it's going to be tweaked. It won't be exactly the same, and it might be improved. If that's the case, then it's most likely to be the A1 50 megapixel sensor. Look, that makes the most sense to me. The sensor is here, it exists, Sony is fabricating it. It allows for these crazy fast readout speeds, and it's tried and tested. There's a couple of unknown variables. Who's going to make it, and what are the megapixels going to be? I think it's a smaller possibility, but it is possible that Nikon push the envelope even further and take it to 60 megapixels. But Nikon are stating that it's a D6 replacement, and I really don't see a D6 replacement being 60 megapixels. Let alone 50 megapixels, but that's kind of where the market is now, and that's where I think Nikon need to land. That's just the way the world is these days. So sensor size, megapixel wise, I think will be 45 or 50, probably 50. That seems to be the most likely outcome. The next thing is frames per second. So far, it's rumored to be 20 frames per second in stills. Most people know how I feel about this. From my perspective, 20 frames per second at 50 megapixels is more than enough. And after that, you may as well just start frame grabbing from video running at 25 frames or 24 frames. Because that's where we're up to. Because that's what Nikon has suggested, that this convergence between the two ways of doing things, well, they're converging. And Nikon being Nikon, well, they'll say, we'll give you 20 frames per second in stills at 50 megapixels, and we will give you 24, 25, 30 frames per second in 8K video. Which segues me to the rumor also states this will have 8K video. Now, I just want to stop on the 8K video for a second, because I hear a lot of people talking about why, don't want it, why are they doing it, no TVs do it, it's blah, blah, blah. I get all of that, and I think it's completely valid for people who don't have an 8K use case, which is perhaps 95%, maybe even more of the market. Totally agree. Not relevant to all of those people. But there's two reasons. There's two reasons why Nikon would be heading down this path. The first reason is pretty obvious. Canon and Sony are doing it. So they kind of have no choice. Just like those same people want to have a 50 megapixel sensor doing 20 to 30 frames per second in stills, well, Nikon need to follow that up. They also need to follow up the 8K. That's the marketing, that's the headlines, that's the flagship, that's the tent pole. That's what the world wants, some of the world. But what all of the world wants is for Nikon to keep up, the perception that Nikon is keeping up. So 8K is there for that reason, number one, keeping up with the Joneses. And the other reason is, well, what you can do is shoot in 8K and then you can punch into a quarter of that image and it still be at full res when you're doing a 4K timeline. I can certainly see occasions where I'm out in the field and I'm shooting a massive landscape and I don't have an operator and I want to be able to pan and scan and zoom within that image as if there is someone working with the camera and zooming the camera, and this allows you to do that sort of thing. So it's a little bit of future proofing, it's a little bit of marketing, and it's also a little bit of, yes, there is real use cases for it. Now, of course, we need new computers and even more storage. That's the way it goes. It is not for everyone. It is niche, but the marketing side of it is critical. Rumored to be 2 CF Express Type B. That makes sense to me. It's faster and larger than Type A, and from my perspective right now, we're pushing up towards 20 maybe CF Express Type B manufacturers. Prices are coming down, sizes are going up. That's the place where I would like to be. The trajectory of CF Express Type B is one of it's starting just to become cheaper and more ubiquitous. So yes. Whereas Type A, to the best of my understanding, is still just made by Sony. The cards are not getting above 160 gigabytes as opposed to the 2 terabytes you can now buy in CF Express Type B. I know where I want to be. And sure, I've been with this format almost a decade, since 2012, so I am very comfortable with it. At the moment, and we might find out more tomorrow or later today, the rumoured release time is the Northern Hemisphere's autumn or fall. So we're talking about 6 months from now, this camera will be released. I can wait. And how is the camera to be best described in one sentence? Well, it'll have a D6 style body, so that means a built-in vertical grip. That means a professional supersized battery like we've seen before in the D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, and so on. It's expected to have photography capabilities similar to an R5, that's the 20 frames per second at around 50 megapixels, and it's expected to have AF autofocus up there with the A9 too. If you are to put all of that in one package, that is one hell of a camera, and that's a very easy way to describe it. Obviously, in giving us a D6 body, as I've said before, I've owned the D2, the D3, the D4. These cameras are built like tanks. They are absolutely outstanding. You can throw anything at them. So to have a mirrorless version of this sort of camera with that sort of specification, well, if the rumours are true, that's an astonishing camera. The rumour says here 16-bit RAW. I don't know whether that's in stills or video, but I am going to guess that that is stills. In regards to video, they're saying 8K up to 30 frames per second, 4K 120 frames per second. That'll make a lot of people happy. Now, of course, we're going to see a new X-Speed processor to run all of this stuff, and that's super exciting, and obviously it's absolutely required. And another rumored highlight, which from my perspective, I'm really excited about, improved high ISO gain as well as improved dynamic range. This is something that Nikon has always been good at, they've always worked on, they've always been class leading, and it's great to see this as part of the rumour. That is one of the things I would be most excited about. The resolution of the EVF will be increased, and I think that's probably a given because in the Z6, Z7, Z6 II and Z7 II, the resolution has not changed since launch in 2018. So I would consider this essential at this point in time. It might be something in the 5 to 6 million area, or they might go as crazy as the A1, which I think is something like 9 million. That's a lot of megapixels. Also, there's talk of the EVF having a 120 megahertz refresh rate, along with it being blackout free, which again is going to make so many people super happy. They're talking about there being a new battery, which is the EN-EL18X. I don't know if the X is, we don't know yet, or it's actually with an X. Also, potentially a new user interface, along with all the I/O that we would expect with Ethernet, GPS and Wi-Fi. So all that high-end, high throughput I/O is exactly what a Pro needs. And I wonder, well, there's a lot of talk, and there was some talk with the recent interview with the Nikon executive about the idea of making images more available to go to the internet, to the cloud, to social media quicker and more seamlessly. What are Nikon going to do on that front? And last but not least, it is rumored that the AF tracking will be stunning. Well, that is what Nikon needs, again, from a marketing perspective. Again, from saying to Nikon users, look, here we are, and we are here on the same level as everybody else who's at the top of the heap. This is the rumor. I reiterate, this is rumors. This is not me just making stuff up. This is rumors that have arrived on Nikon Rumors, a very reputable and very successful rumors site. Thank you, Nikon Rumors. Check them out. We can only hope that what we're reading here today, and will hopefully be announced as is rumored today or tomorrow, formally from Nikon, that this is happening. It's stated that we will not get any specifications, but it'd be great if we just got a couple. And to reiterate, it's stated that the release of this is in the autumn or fall of the Northern Hemisphere, thus around 6 months away. Again, this is an exciting time, and for Nikon users around the world, if all of this comes to fruition, I think we can finally relax after 3 or 4 years of this mirrorless ride. We will finally have a flagship camera as part of the Nikon lineup. And then from moving forward from this point in time, we can just talk about the thing that we all really love more than anything else, which is photography, and how do we create the most interesting and exciting images, pushing our gear to the max. Fantastic to see you all as always, and if this is your first time here, I would love to see you again, so please do subscribe. Please share this video, please like, because it's so good for the channel. If you'd like to watch over 300 episodes right now, just look down there, there's so much more here. I look forward to seeing you very soon, and I may well see you very, very soon talking about this formal announcement becoming formal. See you soon.
Thank you.